Hello, my name's Helen Plant. I'm Market Analyst for the Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board. It's now the start of June and I want to give you a roundup of where grain markets have been over the last month and what some of the main drivers are at the moment. Since really over the past month or so, international grain markets have found some support in prices. This is really coming from the situation in South America, where there are concerns over the impact of unfavourable weather on crop production. This is really affecting the second maize crop in Brazil, which was impacted by hot, dry weather, particularly in northern areas, but also harvest is running later than usual after planting delays. And then to a lesser extent in Argentina, where wet weather has also been of concern. We've seen some reductions to forecasts in these countries and now waiting for final harvest clarity to give us the full picture. However, as you can see here, this has not been reflected in sterling terms. After dipping down to 1.24 against the euro in early April, sterling has risen back up over the past month to 2 months and is now back above 1.31 for the first time since December. This has really outweighed the gains in international markets in UK terms and resulted in markets looking fairly flat. Despite the downward revisions to some of the South American maize crop forecasts, overall we're still expecting a global grain surplus in 2015-16. That's this season. The difference is that now the entirety of that surplus is coming from the wheat market. We'll look at a bit more of the difference between wheat and maize in a second. However, the other main prospect for markets at the moment is that initial forecasts from both the International Grains Council and US Department of Agriculture show a fourth global grain surplus is on the cards in 2016-17. This is something that's only happened twice since 1960, so it's quite a significant event, and that's keeping. As I mentioned a second ago, there is a difference between the grains. This season, 2015-16, wheat is expected to account for all of the build-up in global grain stocks, with maize situation finely balanced or potentially even a small drawdown in stock levels, depending on which estimates you look at. This is a situation that is forecast to be replicated next season, 2016-17. Looking at global end stock forecasts as a percentage of the season's demand gives us a relative measure of supply and demand in those markets. You can see here the divergence between wheat and maize markets and how that is expected to grow over this season and next season. As a result, the global maize market has been acting as a floor to wheat and particularly UK values over the past few months. While the situation continues to be forecast next season, that is likely to continue. Just to finish then, I want to highlight one of the key watch areas over the next month, and that's the US maize crop. Global maize supply and demand is expected to be finely balanced in 2016-17, and that's a large part of that is due to the growth expected in US maize production, up 21 million tonnes year on year. So how the final stages of US maize planting go and what the final crop area is will be important for the market. 30th of June, the USDA will release their planted area estimates, and that's sort of one of our next main watch points.